I understand what I have to do. I'm sorry.
I am free.
Wow, you have got to check this out. Is Bitcoin currently breaking bearish out of a seemingly bullish pattern and heading to a lower target, or in fact, is this a fake out to the upside? Nick Yaremchuk, an on-chain analyst and cryptocurrency trader, said Bitcoin is showing signs of a previous fractal found in May 2019. We'll talk about what that means for Bitcoin's price if in fact that fractal is repeating. And wow, with Bitcoin's bull run slowing, is a pullback now expected? We're going to be going into that data here, and if it is the case, what price can we see Bitcoin go to before continuing to head up? We're going to be taking a look at some top altcoin analysis as well. We'll talk about what it would mean if Bitcoin breaks here out of our lowest of 6 lines of this ascending channel and what the price of Bitcoin will go to. Wow, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to an extremely Wednesday webisode. We have a lot to get into today with Bitcoin's price, as it does look as though this ascending triangle that Bitcoin has been teetering on for the last few days is actually heading to the downside. We'll talk about what levels it has to break to 100% invalidate that, and if so, where is Bitcoin heading? And as well, is this all just a massive fake out? And in fact, this rally is going to continue to the upside, as in fact, altcoins have lost a significant amount of value over the last few days. However, some of them are also retaining massive gains over the last few weeks. So we're going to be delving into that as well. So guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that like, subscribe, turn on the ding so you get notified when we upload. And we'll be picking a winner for this ledger in the next episode, so make sure to leave your comment below. So guys, Bitcoin's bull run is slowing, says Amkar Gadboli here on CoinDesk. Pullback now expected. So Bitcoin could be set for an imminent retracement as the uptrend that had its origins in March's Black Thursday crash now looks to be running out of steam. Singapore-based QCP Capital warned its Telegram subs Wednesday that Bitcoin was showing signs of lethargy. It has struggled to capture any new highs. Bitcoin fell below the key $12,000 milestone on Tuesday, pouring cold water on hopes earlier this week for a major bullish breakout. So guys, clearly this ascending triangle that really started forming the last few days of July 2020 is seeming to break to the downside. As we talked about back on August 17th, we found a lot of overhead resistance right at about 12.5, and we got rejected there, and ever since then it's basically been on a downward trajectory. Now, is Bitcoin going to find support on a level like this and actually bounce on these 4-hour candles, and is this pattern actually done? So the breakout failed to invite stronger buying pressure and prices fell below 12K, invalidating the bullish setup. Chart analysts consider a failed breakout as a sign of bullish exhaustion, a slowing of price gains usually coupled with weakening buying pressure. Monday's breakout of 12K was almost entirely short squeeze driven, and the resultant failure was just ahead of large offers at 12.5. Open interest in Bitcoin futures on major exchanges rose to record highs, or just under 6 billion on Monday, up 200% from the March low of about 1.93 billion. Such bloated bullish positioning often leads to deeper price pullbacks. And as well, we do have the weekly chart RSI above 70, a sign the rally may be overdone. Now, we have had the RSI increase above that, as you can see on this chart previously, especially going back to 2017 and 2018, and then similarly back in the summer of 2019 when we had that run from 3K to 14K. But guys, the rally we are on is not going to be a short-lived one, most likely like we saw it last summer. This is the beginning of a more very long-term bullish cycle. Moves in alts that we did not see such exuberance in the altcoin market like we do now, like we did back in summer of 2019. So Chris Thomas, head of digital assets at Swiss Quote Bank, also thinks the rally in Bitcoin and DeFi has gone too far. It's natural we are seeing profit taking and weak buying at higher levels. And what they say here is the broader outlook will remain bullish as long as prices are held above the former resistance towards support at 10.5 originally back in February. So guys, if we switch to our ascending channel that we've had in play for quite a long time now, we initially were in it back at the beginning of March, and then we broke out of it here just for about a few weeks at the end of June and broke back into it, and we've been respecting those lines ever since, right? They've been playing a role. Currently, where we're finding that support is at the very bottom, this last line right here, after getting rejected off of this top line right around 12.4. Now we're finding support here. The absolute lowest that we can go and remain extremely bullish in the short term is basically right here, which is actually kind of where this August 2nd low was as we were rallying in this pattern here. 10.5 is key, and also 10.5 basically matches up with the 7-year historical resistance or support that we have. Okay, this goes back 7 years. We can zoom out and show you that this blue line, if we go back here to January of 2019, and even all this time back from January 2015 to March 2017, so 2 entire years finding support here on this blue line, Then you see it here finding support back in, as we bottomed out with that ascending triangle that led us to a breakout from 3 to 5K back in the summer of 2019. And then yet again getting that bounce here in December of 2019. And now we're approaching that again for support right here. So staying above pretty much 10.5. I mean, we go a little below that, but staying around 10.5 is kind of where we need to go. I remain extremely bullish in the short term and long term if we remain to hold above 10.5, which is this key level right here. We just broke extremely bullish out of this pattern right here, this ascending triangle or the symmetrical triangle, into this ascending triangle. And ultimately, we want to remain above this. This will cement a lot of the bullish gains that we've gotten over the past few months. And going below that, I think, would be a much more bearish sign. But again, guys, there's so much momentum in the market right now. I really am not anticipating going below that. With that being said, we do have the CME gap slightly under 10K. They don't have to fill, but that's just something to keep in mind. We're still aware of that there is a gap there. But I also believe there's a gap around 3,000 US dollars. So do you think Bitcoin will go to $3,000 again? I personally don't think there's a chance. Okay, maybe it will, but I just highly, highly, highly doubt that. And if it would do that, it would destroy the structure of Bitcoin and the entire cryptocurrency market like it has never had destroyed before, right? It would absolutely, completely destroy pretty much the entire history of Bitcoin and what everyone expects Bitcoin's price to do. The stock to flow model will be out the door. Basically, every long-term model of Bitcoin would be irrelevant if Bitcoin would ever revisit 3,000 again. So basically holding here, 11.7, if we would break that, then I would possibly see we would go to that 10.7 or 10.5 down to here, guys. So we want to see if we can hold this. But something else you want to note is that we're actually still bouncing off of this 21-day moving average, which is just very key in an uptrend. We do have this 50-day moving average down basically right where this blue line meets that, right around 10.4. So again, a lot of support there, and we have a lot of horizontal support at this level too. Not very concerned, but I could actually see us pulling back and even wicking down to 10K if this would actually be completely bearish. Now, even if that did happen, returning to 10K, in my opinion, would then lead us very much higher to be breaking 13 and 14. So basically what I'm saying here is a trajectory, if that happened, would be if we continue, if we come down here, maybe something like this, wick back up, continue here, and then we form more bullish patterns and end up eventually fully breaking 14K. So that's really the ultimate bearish pattern that I'm looking at, meaning it's pretty bullish. I'm not expecting too much bearishness out of the next few months of Bitcoin, guys. Definitely expecting this thing to be much more bullish. The main reason on this monthly chart, we are just breaking up out of this key area. If we came up to here and we ended up coming down, even we said about a few weeks ago for the last few weeks, if we come down to this, maybe wicking down, that's the lowest we could go. So maybe 8.5 at the very lowest. Again, that would fill one of the CME gaps. It would not fill that CME gap, down here. I mean, look how ridiculous that looks, guys. So say we have a gap, which we do right about here. Okay, reasonable enough that we could fill that. But we have a gap down here as well. Okay, is it reasonable that we'll fill that? In my opinion, not at all, because not only will we be completely invalidating this 2.5-year extremely bullish pattern, we would be taking out a higher low, a double bottom basically pattern here. And I mean, it's possible that we could destroy this low if we end up coming down that low. So again, I highly doubt we'll ever fill this gap. There are other gaps that we haven't filled before. That's just the most mind-boggling one that people don't want to happen down there. But then again, guys, we have this one slightly below 10K, right about here on the chart. But again, coming back to retest this macro bullish pattern for support is a very normal thing. So say we do come down here to 10K, say we break 10K, and maybe in a day or two we wick down to 8 and go back above 10 in the same day or within a few days. People would be losing their mind. People would get extremely bearish if we actually ended up all the way pulling back to 8.5K, right? Imagine if we actually pull back to this 21-month moving average, roughly around 8,000 or a little below 8,000. People would be freaking out. But again, that is always something we want to watch out for. Even during this crash over the last few months that happened in March, we kind of found support significantly under this 21-month moving average, which was around 7,002, but we found monthly support around 6,004. So ultimately, long term, there still most likely will be a significant pullback at some point before we break all-time highs. But the key question is, will it be 10.5 or will it be maybe around 8.5, significantly under 10K? And guys, for XTZ, we had that little bit of a breakout, but you see we're finding support now right where this breakout kind of occurred. Also right where Tezos's 21-day moving average is. So here we're still watching that. Still have a significant position in that. As well, Chainlink has been bouncing perfectly at our level right here, right around that $15 level, which remember guys, Chainlink has been in like a 3-year almost ascending channel where all of these lines play significant support and resistance. And that's exactly where we're bouncing right now for Chainlink, looking really good. Same thing for Ethereum. When we broke out really at the end of July, we're now trying to find support and cement above this 21-day moving average and ultimately have to stay above pretty much 370. We do not want to return back to that $300 level where the previous levels of resistance were. Absolutely massive. So that's kind of the bearish and bullish, but this is the most bullish scenario, is that we actually repeat something like this, because this is a very possible short-term bullish scenario that we repeat something like we saw back in August, the very beginning of August, and then also about a week ago around the 12th, where we come down and we actually find 4-hourly support around here and bounce back in and maybe end up having an actual breakout. Now, we did have a failed breakout, but that doesn't 100% guarantee that we won't be able to actually find support here, retain the support, and then actually have a true breakout. It does look, though, like it is exhausted, and I think this is the least likely of all the scenarios we discussed today. Wow, guys, huge. Thanks so much for coming by, and if you're interested in joining T4, where you can learn charting, trading, and get access to my portfolio and my Telegram, make sure to join T4 below using the code MILLIONS at checkout to get 15% off. And remember, guys, Bybit is hosting a competition on this channel. There's only 4 days left, where if you deposit 0.05 Bitcoin, you don't even have to trade it. If you deposit that, you enter to win some very nice Bitcoin, a Bybit Ledger Nano X, and also some Bitcoin apparel. Wow.